Tired of tattoo chairs that squeak, wobble, and feel like you're tattooing someone on a folding chair from 1982? Say goodbye to imported pain and hello to the Chariot Tattoo Chair, the only throne fit for an artist and their canvas. Crafted right here in the good old US of A, this chair is more American than a bald eagle riding a Harley through a fireworks show. No tariffs, no shipping delays, just pure ergonomic freedom. We're talking lumbar support that'll cradle your client's spine like it owes them money, armrests that adjust faster than your last relationship, and a 360-degree swivel that'll have you spinning like a DJ at a block party. Stop torturing your back and your client's dignity. Upgrade to the Chariot Tattoo Chair because your art deserves better than a glorified bar stool. The Chariot Tattoo Chair. Sit proud, ink loud.
We are back. This is Rafael from the Chairman and the Artist. It's May 6th. May 6th today, huh?
6,
We just celebrated Cinco de Mayo. This Cinco de Mayo was scary for us brownies. There was a lot of people running from the ice.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of people
They're not
running.
called ice anymore. They're called something else, way. They're called, what are they called?
La Migra?
Yeah, something like that.
La Migra, ice.
I heard they changed their name so they could be incognito.
No, man, La Migra, ice, they're all the same.
All the good shit.
You know? It's just ice is they go after the criminals. They go after the ones that already have a warrant.
So I heard that they have a different name. They have a different name because it's not ICE anymore. Because they're like a part of everything. They're part of the government. They're part of the they're kind of like police, government, all that shit, whatever. But so they can pick you up on warrants and they can pick you up on all kinds of random ass shit.
Yeah, it's a federal agent, and the federal agent doesn't respect local laws.
No,
they go after you.
But I guess if you don't have any criminal record, if you're illegal, they will pick you up, but they'll let you go as long as you ain't got nothing going on. No? That's what I heard.
I don't believe that.
I had one of
I
myself.
don't believe it. Right now it's catch everybody and
Catch
anybody.
everybody and chuck them out of here.
What do they call them? What's the word for it? When you're just a bystander. I can't think of the word right now. But yeah, right now as many as they can get. You know. The scary part is that you can end up in a jail in El Salvador.
Oh, that jail in El Salvador is no joke.
I never committed a crime in El Salvador. Now I'm gonna end up.
And they don't even like you and all kinds of shit. Yeah, no, dude, they're crazy over there. Yeah. It's crazy because me being Salvadorian, like full Salvadorian, like I hear about it like I've been hearing about the prison forever since it's been made and shit, and it changes the life of El Salvador. It changed like living in El Salvador forever.
Welcome to Graffiti City, your one-stop shop for graffiti supplies. From spray paint to markers, caps, and merch, we've got it all. Let's get creative. GraffitiCityNV.com.
This CBD-infused cream provides targeted comfort with a zesty, refreshing scent. Find your relief today at ktapothecary.com.
You know what I'm saying?
Do you go back to El Salvador
to
visit?
Yeah, I've gone back. So I went back. It's crazy because like I went the mic's on because I can't hear myself.
No, I was supposed to hear you and you're supposed to
hear
hear
me. I can't hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we should be good.
We're good. Okay.
Yeah. We should
so like I went in 2000. I want to say it was 19, right? Something like that. And then that was the year that Bukele was running for president. And it was crazy because like me like not knowing shit, you know what I'm saying? Like I just went up in there, and then I when we got to the airport, like I seen banners of this fucking guy, and like and it looked like hella crazy, you know what I mean? I was like, okay, and then I was like, what's the hype on this dude, And I told my cousin, I was like, what's the hype on this guy? He's like, bro, this guy's really smart, dog. Like this was smart, and he's going against the government pretty much because the government in El Salvador has been corrupt for the last 30 years, some shit, you know what I mean? Like crazy, right? A lifetime of just corruption, you know what I mean? And I don't know too much details. I just know that they just weren't doing what they should have done for El Salvador, And they were getting money from El Salvador. They just weren't putting it in the right places or whatever. So El Salvador never grew, you know what I mean? The gangs ran it because the people they couldn't control it, and then so they would just benefit off of it, you know what I mean?
It became a big ass organization.
Right. So it didn't benefit it just didn't benefit nobody, right? So the Bukele came out and he was like, and at that time in 2019, he came out and he was like, you know what, I'm going to speak against y'all. So what they did is they blackballed them, and then they didn't put them on any platforms. And then every time they did, they would attack him. But that motherfucker's so smart that he would hit him with some like knowledge like real quick. You know what I'm saying? So what he did, he's made his own pretty much like a podcast or like his own radio station, his own social media, and that's how he published him. Like that's how he put himself out to the public, because they wouldn't put him on they wouldn't put him out there because he was against what they were going against, right? So as soon as he hit office, dude, I was there when he won. And it was crazy, bro. Like, my dad was lighting out fireworks and shit. I'm like, oh, dang. And then some people were pissed off. Like, some people really wanted the other people to stay. You know what I mean?
Well, I remember when he had to, take over the Congress or their
yeah, he took over the whole thing.
Well, he kind of put everybody almost like in a dictator situation where he had to, hey, I'm going to take a lot of rights away for right now until I get control of this fucking thing.
Kind of, yeah.
So
you know how the
United States was criticizing him.
Yeah, you know how, but you know how the United States came in and then they changed the office numbers. Like now it's more Republican, the Democrats or whatever the seats. So that's what he did, is he changed all that. Like he made it sure that like the people that were with his mentality were like the ones setting the rules. That way he could set the rules and shit. And like then he changed everything and he put motherfuckers in jail. Like he was like, yo, you were taking money from El Salvador, boom, you going to jail. Motherfuckers ran, bro. Motherfuckers in Miami, motherfuckers are in Europe. Motherfuckers is gone. Like they're like, I'm not. I don't want to go to jail.
I was watching. I watch his travel shows where people go and we're over here, Costa Rica, we're right here, and then all of a sudden I started seeing people traveling to El Salvador because the downtown in El Salvador, he took off that big old area where there was a bunch of stands and stuff like that were actually blocking the real businesses.
Yeah,
and stuff like that, and also he cleaned all that up. And made El Salvador like more friendly to tourism and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, super.
He hunted down everybody and anybody that had a tattoo. And then I could see people like, oh, this guy got arrested, but he has no tattoos. He doesn't belong to it.
Yeah.
But then you got Carmelita over there. Yeah, but that motherfucker was a squeal or a little rat. He was collecting for them.
Right.
Or he was doing underground work for them. And shit
they were
like
throwing
that.
girlfriends in jail. They were throwing
everybody.
he
was a little halcón.
You couldn't have any type of affiliation.
So anybody, there was a lot of people that were getting arrested. The people, he's not involved. It's like, well, yeah, but if he got the neighborhood also saying, no, this motherfucker was involved. He was involved.
He had a plan. That's what had a plan. And what happened? It looked fucked up. You know what I mean? It looked like, damn fool, you're like. You're violating fools, like, you know what I mean, like civil rights. You're violating their rights as humans, type shit.
But then on the other side, flip. Who's violating the rights of the humans too?
Right. Look at the flip.
A big ass organization that is out of control, has no nothing, no justice or anything. No justice is a machete.
Yeah, real shit.
How about we just cut off his hands and that'll solve the problem?
And I'm gonna tell you because. I don't know much about Salvador, so if anybody's watching that's like Salvador, they're gonna be like, "This motherfucker don't know shit about Salvador," and I don't know it like that, but I know what I see, right? So I went over there in 2019, and we're from Metapan, which is like next to San Salvador a little bit, it's a little bit out the way, but Metapan is like a bigger city and shit, and like we rolled by there like around probably like 7-8 o'clock, you know what I'm saying? Ghost town. There's nobody out there. Ain't nobody outside. And I was like, all right, cool, whatever. And I was like, man, I thought we was chilling. You know what I'm saying? They're like, nah, ain't nobody out here. All right, cool. Boom. Fast forward now.
Yeah,
there's people outside at 12 o'clock at night at the parks playing soccer, vending. Like, they're the doñas are out there being able to sell pupusas and being able to sell whatever and make money. You know what I'm saying? Without thinking they're going to get hit. It makes me want to
go because my wife is from El Salvador. She's from Santana.
Don't go.
Yeah, motherfucker, but
okay, don't go. They said there were some stupid rules, like you can't have a crown tattoo.
Well, the crown is the Latin kings.
Yeah,
so they can relate that motherfucker to a Latin king.
You can't have the Jordan symbol. What's that one?
And I don't know, but I myself, the United States is well connected with El Salvador. In other words, they share information.
Yeah.
So right here in Reno, they decided to put me on the gang file.
Oh shit!
So that right away, no bueno for me.
You're you're a gang member, Raph.
No, I'm not a gang member.
This is a part of you I didn't know.
No, this is something that Mr. Popo can do to you.
Yeah, real shit.
Once they tag you as a gang member, you can't easily just go
You
over
can't
there
get
and
up out of it. No, hell
prove
no.
yourself that you're not.
Yeah, no, hell
You
no.
know, I never affiliated myself with a gang. I tattoo a lot of gang members. I
Yeah.
tattooed a lot of, you know, when I started tattooing, I was tattooing in the neighborhood. So, of course, my first
you
victims were the homies in the hood,
Yeah, for sure.
you know, and sooner or later, these guys,
Did they pay you?
yeah, everybody paid me,
paid you.
fucker.
Good.
One of the coolest things that Kelly, when I started associating with Kelly, is that he says, charge him at least $20. Back in the day, it was way different. He goes, charge him $20, $30, $50, whatever you think that tattoo should be worth, and never do any of your work for free.
Okay, cool.
You know,
Good.
that way you can put more heart into it. You can put, you know, if homie's giving me his paying me his last $30, I'm gonna try and do the best I can on that little rose or whatever the fuck I was doing at the time. And then I started tattooing professionally, and some of them came to the shop. Some of them, nah, I can't afford that kind of fucking
Yeah.
too expensive.
But that's good though, cause you know how sometimes homies like they try to always get the hookup. Hey, what's up, fool? Like, let me get that.
Dude, I'm one of the most fucking assholes when it comes to that, because this is what happens. Apparently, we're not racist, but we are. Everybody's fucking racist, and I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Because everybody expects, oh, suddenly when we're on this side of the border,
Mm-hmm.
now we're carnales, now we're brothers. Over there, you're gonna rob me, shoot me, and fucking kick my ass. But over here, we're carnales.
Yeah.
So it was very common, and this is the bullshit that me and my brother would do. I have a homie come in, homie that I don't know at all. You know, if this is a guy that I know from the hood,
Yeah.
maybe we can do a little bit of a discount.
Yeah.
But this is a guy that I have never met, comes in and says, hey, man, I want a tattoo. Okay, what do you want? I want this, you know, chivas or whatever. Okay, you know.
America.
Yeah, you're looking.
You gotta throw that out there,
You're looking
fool.
at, you know, $150, $200. Oh, come on, bro. You think you can do it for less, bro? Ah, cabrón, I didn't know my daddy was fucking your mama.
Oh shit!
And the guy goes like, what the fuck? And I'm like, hey, bro, come here.
Yeah.
Apparently we have another lost brother.
Yeah.
This motherfucker thinks we're bros.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's kind of like, we're not brothers, bro. We're doing business here.
Yeah.
And I asked for 150 to 200. You know, this is not a flea market.
Yeah.
This is a professional establishment.
Yeah.
And don't treat me like that.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, well, let's set up an appointment. And then I would set up the appointment with Aaron or Mike, you know, and he's like, what do you mean I wanted you to do it? I'm busy. I'm booked 3 months ahead. This guy can get you in today or tomorrow.
Right.
I don't want a white guy tattooing me.
Oh fuck! Here we go.
Oh, you fucking racist motherfucker.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
racist comes in all different ways.
All different ways.
Suddenly,
I like that you said that.
because we're the same race, I'm supposed to
Right.
give you a discount.
Right.
You know, like I'm
Right.
supposed to come into your store, your mom's restaurant, and say, "Hey, my wife is from El Salvador. I should receive 50% discount."
Yeah. We're
She's like, "Fuck, I don't even know your wife.
yeah, real shit.
Why am I fucking giving you a discount?" But this is the mentality of people have.
Yeah.
You know, that you can go in there and all suddenly you're gonna get the homie
We're
discount.
hooked up. Yeah.
And no, I didn't deal with that shit. I hated that shit, you know, and I hated that people would always try to, you know, get me to do a different
pull that card.
Yeah, pull that card. And it's
That's
kind of
fucked
like,
up.
nah,
I get that all the time.
That's not how it goes, you know. This is business. This is my talent, you know.
But that's good that you kept it like that. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, you know, and for that fucking reason, you know, a lot of people would kind of, you know, say I was a dick or this or that, or I'm not cool with La Raza and this and that. And it's like, yeah, I'm cool with La Raza, but La Raza has no problems pulling a gun on me as I'm crossing the border back to Mexico.
Yeah.
The bandidos on the fucking desert, you know.
Yeah.
And then every other fucking stop, you gotta give a mordida to the jura.
Yeah.
You know?
Which I heard about that.
Oh yeah, it's fucking cool when you pay off Mexican cops. It is one of the coolest.
But man, I've heard stories.
It is one of the
boy.
coolest fucking things, man. Because I remember I traveled to Mexico one year, and I had about $5,000 worth of fucking tattoo equipment.
Oh, okay.
And back in the day, the tariffs for crossing stuff like that is like 50%.
Oh shit.
So I have to pay $2,000. So I say, homie, I ain't got time to do all these fucking things. So homie says, homie, el pinche jura me dice, órale, pues ponle aquí, nos arreglamos con $500. $500. And dije, pues órale, cabrón. ahí le di la pinche mordida. You know, así al abierto, le dice, no seas mamón, tan siquiera escóndela allí y yo la agarro. Le digo,
Oh, shit.
No seas mamón, this is how you're asking me for the fucking mordida también.
Just take
You
the
know?
money, man.
Yeah, so it's kind of cool because
That's tight.
I see it two ways.
Yeah,
This motherfucker's nothing but a thief,
yeah.
or later when I become powerful, he's going to become my bitch.
Mm-hmm.
One of the two,
Right.
you know?
Right.
And that's how
That's how it works.
That's how the Mexican police, we can say how you can look down on them and this and that. Where here, we're afraid to do that to Popo here.
Yeah, you can't do that.
I have never. Oh, yes, you
I mean,
can.
you can, but you gotta know who, and you
gotta
gotta
know
be somebody.
Because
You
I
gotta
heard
be
more
somebody.
than one white boy telling me how they trade and this and that. I was
Okay,
like, wait a minute, you can do that? I never try that here. It's like,
I would
no,
never
no.
try it.
Well, I would never try it
I
either.
would never
you know?
try. We could fucking.
I would-
But real
is there
shit,
any
though-
way we could solve this in a different
real
way,
shit,
officer?
Real shit, though, it's always. I mean, you know, it's just what it is. You know, like it's not. And I talk to my kids about it because you brought up racism, and like I talk to my kids about it because my kids are always, oh, you can't say that or you can't do this, because like we use us growing up, like because I'm from the Bay Area, and like we came here, and like the Bay Area is really influenced here in Reno. Like we use that as just a slang term. You know what I mean? Like I have black homies that I say
I can't use that.
So
No.
you can't, yeah.
We're gonna have to edit
you're
that
cholo.
part.
But like, so and I'll say it not, like no, like just whatever, you know what I mean? I never say it disrespectfully. Like I got black homies, they know that I'm not racist like that. But my kids will be like, you kids, that's racist. And I'm like, I feel you, you know, I know what you're saying, right? And then or like, oh look at that black guy, or look at that brown guy, you know, that you guys. I'm like, what do you mean? Like he's brown.
I
and he's black,
like
right?
to call ourselves brownies, you know.
Right,
we're brown,
right,
we're brown
right. And you
proud.
got to call it for what it is. You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
but
my
if you
skin
don't
is
see it
brown.
like that, if you don't see it like in that way, like it is what it is. You know, that's where the racism ends, where you don't see it in a hateful way. You don't see it. It's another human being, right? But when I was a kid, dude, that you said that like paying. Well, he didn't get paid off or nothing, but it was so crazy on how they treated us, because we would get pulled over by cops all the time. You know what I mean? Obviously, we're out there being fuckers and shit. But like one time we got pulled over and gang unit came, dude. They were like, bro, show us your tattoos, and they were doing the most, bro. They're trying to get us. Like they're trying to lock us up no matter what, right? So another time we get pulled over and my white homie's driving, right? And there's like 5 of us in the front, and it's like a 2-door truck, and we're in the back and all kinds of shit. He gets pulled over, he hits the motherfucking curb, hops on the curve and shit, and all kinds of pedote, and I'm like, oh fuck, here we go, we're all going to fucking jail, idiot. So I got homegirl in the middle seat sucking on pennies and quarters and shit. And I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, if you do that, it doesn't come out in the breathalyzer. So she got everybody sucking pennies and quarters and shit like fucking idiots. And then so then the cops pull us over. And I'm like, man, my boy Whitey's going to jail, you know. And Whitey, he's like, that's what we call him. We call him Whitey, white boy and shit. Like, and that fool's like the white guy, you know. Everybody has that white guy. You know?
I have a white guy that we're always
Right,
hey,
it's just
Aaron, come over here, talk to the popo.
It's the white dude. Yeah, it's the white dude.
They don't want to listen to me, and I can't reason with these guys. So yeah, we
You
always
tell-
have the white talking with
we
us.
had the white. That's the white guy that always kicked it with the brown guys. He was the only white dude, so he was white boy, right? So he gets pulled over. They pull him out of the car, dude, and we're like, "Fuck, this dude's about to get like, you know, he's about to get hemmed up. He's about to go to jail. Whoop de whoop, whatever." Dude, there was like fucking 7 cops out there, right? And they were checking everybody's names. And then at the end of it, dude, the fucking cop, I was listening because the window was rolled down and shit. And the fucking cop was like, look, bro, do you want to go to jail? Or do you want to call your mom to pick you up? And he was like, can I call my mom? Boom, calls his mom. She comes, picks him up, dude. We all fucking leave. I'm like, when the fuck is that ever gonna happen to me? Never in my fucking life, dude. I was like, are you serious? And I mean, he's a white dude, blue eyes.
In a way,
so it's just
eternally you are racist because you do know what your limits are.
It's the
you
like
do
it's to that point. If that's what we're gonna
do
call
know
it, you know,
how far you can push the button.
It's only
on when
it's
you
just
get
what
pulled
life
over.
is. Yeah, it's
You
just
know?
life is. You know that you are what you are. I'm a brownie.
Yeah, I once I understand, like every time I get pulled over, I just got arrested again for DUI. So
Did you?
Oh yeah.
When?
This is my 3rd time
Recently?
for the weed again.
Oh, for weed, fuck.
Yeah, and, you
my
know,
sister got one of those.
And
Dumbass.
so hopefully
Not
I'll figure out how to come out, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, no, I'm a dumbass. I got caught.
It is what it is, you know. Hey, fucking lie, you know what I mean? I don't know. It's hard because I haven't been pulled over a lot. I got DUIs. I got 3 of them, and that's why people ask me like, bro, do you drink and shit? And I'm like, no, I don't drink. And they're like, oh, why? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I'm in my 30s now. I'm 37, right? And I stopped drinking when I was 24, right, babe? Like 23, 24. And I stopped drinking cold turkey. I was like, I'm done. You know what I'm saying? Because I got a diversion court and all kinds of shit. And I quit drinking right there, right? I had 3 DUIs. And my fucking lawyer dropped it down to my second DUI again. And he pulled some shit out of there.
I beat the first 2. So
Did you?
actually, this is only the first one.
Oh, then you're all right. Then you're not a dumbass.
Yeah, well, no, I go hire a good lawyer, you know, and pay him quite a bit of money.
Yeah, same.
And then finally he finds a little glitch and it's like, oh, this is the glitch,
And he knows the people at the court, right?
They're gonna drop the charges and stuff like that. So I use racism. I hire a white fucking lawyer. I don't go hire a Mexican lawyer.
We can't call it racism. We can't call it racism, man. We
But
can't.
no, I use
You're gonna
race
get us
angles.
canceled saying racism.
I use race angles, you know. I mean, as a tattoo artist, tattooing is, how can I say, I tell people there's certain tattoos that don't belong to you.
Yeah.
And they're like, what do you mean? I say, you can't get this tattoo or that tattoo that does not belong to your race, that does not belong to you.
Yeah, I guess you could.
You know? And for example, I had a Mexican guy that wanted Vikings. He liked the Viking thing. He wanted Vikings. It's like, you're gonna get heat from the white brothers because that's a Viking
white, yeah.
represents a white area. And, oh no, it'll be good.
Yeah.
All right, motherfucker. I did nothing but Vikings on his whole arm. He comes
Got
back
heat.
later and tells me, dude, they're riding my fucking ass left and right. Luckily, this motherfucker's huge.
Okay,
And
good.
he knows how to handle himself, but
That's
still,
good.
he's got, man, I got
It is what it
motherfuckers
is.
telling me why I got this and this and that. And I'm like, well, I told you, you know. It's kind of like also doing an Aztec piece on a white ass boy,
Yeah.
which I did that. I had a guy come in and he wanted a Mayan piece on his arm,
Oh shit.
and I told him, sure, let's do this, you know. And I told him, why you getting a Mayan piece, you know, because you're white as a motherfucker. He was from Johannesburg, California, in the
Right.
fucking desert.
Right.
So he's in a little tiny desert town.
I never even heard.
And
of
he's all about
Johannesburg.
archaeology, and he wants this Mayan stuff. I said,
Okay,
all right,
cool.
homie, you're gonna have issues for this. Oh no,
He's down for that one, though.
You're just making it a big fucking deal, Raph. I don't know why you always do that. Okay, well, we fucking did that. I did his tattoo. 7 years later, he comes back and tells me a story where he moved to fucking California. What's it called? The Orange place where.
Orange County.
Orange County, but he moved into an area nothing but Mexican gang affiliated. And he say he has these motherfuckers riding his ass every other day.
Oh yeah.
You know, why'd you got this? So he had to cover it up with a big skull and then got nothing but badass skulls all over.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, you were right, motherfuckers. You guys are a bunch of
Listen
assholes.
to your tattoo artist.
You know, and I
Listen to
said,
your
well,
tattoo artist.
yeah. I said, I told you, man, not everybody's educated on tattoos.
Yeah.
Not everybody's educated on what you can and can't get.
Yeah.
You know? And some tattoos,
I just don't belong to you.
you know,
I get
like
that.
there's a lot of Aztec symbols right now that I can look in archaeology. Oh, this symbol means this. This symbol is from the Zapotecos. This symbol is from the Mixtecos, and this and that. You know, this symbol is from the
Zapotecos. That
from
sounds-
the
I don't know what that is, but I like it.
it's Mexico is full of fucking
Full of
empires.
shit. Yeah.
You know, it was a the Aztecs,
Oh, yeah,
the
yeah.
Zapotecos, and
Yeah,
the other
yeah.
ones.
They're with the shit.
It was a you know, or go
Hasta-
going and getting a symbol that belongs to the
Hasta
Purepechas.
historia me salió el Rafa aquí.
Well, you have to be. You
Puta,
have to be.
mano.
But right now,
me salió pesado,
the
compadre.
gangs are using the symbols,
Oh yeah, for sure. They.
and these symbols mean a whole different thing in the gang world.
Yeah.
You know, this
I
one
didn't
means
know that.
you're a
That's crazy.
torpedo. This one means you're a fucking
shit.
collector. This one means you're or this or that.
This one knows
So
the shit.
people that don't understand, they're getting a symbol,
You
an
can't be
Aztec
getting shit like
symbol,
that, yeah, real
and
shit.
then here comes the gang unit, or here comes another gang affiliated
Right, right, right.
motherfucker. Hey man, I see you got a torpedo. Where you from?
Yeah, right,
You really
right,
a torpedo, motherfucker? And they're
Right.
like, the fuck is a torpedo?
Yeah, right.
I don't know. I just got these because I like, you know, I'm from
like how
Mexico
it
and this and that.
Yeah.
Nah, motherfucker, that means you're part of this and that.
Yeah.
And so some of us don't even know what's going on in the street.
Yeah.
What's going on with, you know, the symbols that are coming out.
Yeah.
You know?
It's crazy you say it because I got a white homie and like and they were all big on graffiti and stuff like that, and like they're my homies and shit. Shout out to my boy Nick and shit. Now he's a bodybuilder now. He's a fucking shout out to the homie. He comes through one day and like he's showing off, like he didn't show off his tattoos, but he was doing some fucking, I don't know why, he did do some sucio shit and he has his pants down or some shit like that. No, don't ask me why, I don't know what he was doing. Anyways, so but right here on his knees he had stars. He had some type of stars and shit. And that's tight, you know what I'm saying? And he's like, yeah, they're cool, right? And I was like, yeah. And I was like, what is that? What is it? Like, why, you know what I mean? And I thought they were cool, right? And I was like, I want to get something like that. He's like, they're Russian. They're Russian. That means you bow down to no one. And I was like, oh shit, I didn't know that. And I was like, but how the fuck am I gonna look with Russian fucking stars on my knees, way?
No, yeah, you got also like,
they're like, this motherfucker.
You got like the North Cal Star. The North Cal became
What are
pretty
you?
famous, and the North Cal Star became pretty famous in the BMX riders. And the thing, but it also means northern from the northern side.
Yeah, exactly.
And shit like that, you know. So it's kind of like, here I am putting a North Cal Star on somebody. And I got some confused Sureños coming in. What the fuck? Why is a white boy? Is he part of the clique? I was like, no. This is a whole different thing, man. This is not what you think. Please leave my client alone, you know?
Yeah.
So, you know, there's so many symbols out there that people don't even understand. I mean, I had a guy bring me a shitload. He gave me a CD. And the CD had all the white supremacy symbols. Like, these are the symbols that belong to them. And this is... And a lot of them, they're hella weird. I can recognize them.
Yeah.
You know? I also tattooed a prison guard that came and brought me a video, a CD that had nothing but photographs of all these badass tattoos from Texas.
Oh, shit.
And that's where I learned from the Texas Syndicate, who the fuck the Texas Syndicate was and all that. But all these tattoos that I'm seeing
blast guys, all
have
that.
slashes, like they've been cut. They've been sliced. These are photographs that are being taken in the
like when they're already
when they're already they've been cut or they've been slashed in the prison, and then they have they take photos,
right?
And he's like, yeah, I want to show you like what some of these symbols are and some of the gang stuff, so you don't go around doing them,
right,
and stuff like that.
That's
you
cool.
know?
Good looking out.
So that's what I kind of know. It's like, oh shit, this one means this one means that, you know. And I make sure that when I tattoo somebody, it's like, look, this one means this in the gang world, so be careful where you go with this, because you're gonna have issues.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah. Oh, you have to know. But so I gotta ask you, because I've been thinking about this right now. Because you said so certain tattoos go with certain people, right? But for you, like, because I'm thinking, if you walk into a tattoo shop, would you let a girl tattoo you? Have you got tattooed by a girl?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you don't think like, is she gonna do a good job? She can do a bad job? Like
No,
nobody
it's
gives
artistic.
them slack, like girls are less than, like, or less artists or better artists and nothing like that.
My boss was a female.
Oh, nice, cool.
Kelly was a husband.
Because I know that there's some type of
Sue
hate.
was the owner. Both of them owned the shop.
Nice. Shout out to the women tattooers. I know some good ones out there.
When I started tattooing, Sue Miller was probably one of the 5% females in the tattoo industry. There was hardly any females back in the day.
Nice.
So Sue was up there and one of the 5. You know, nowadays there's so many females in our industry.
Yeah.
And all this, and some of them don't even fucking have the talent. The only talent they have is the shakes and the moves and the TikTok shit.
Is there some people that are like they'll go into a tattoo shop and they'll be like, have you encountered it where it's like, okay, well, I can't tattoo you right now, but she can, and they're like, no, I'm good.
Yeah, a
They've
bunch
had
of
this like
fucking
that?
dumbasses that you know they're either don't want to get tattooed by a female just because she's a female, or they don't want to get tattooed by a white guy just because he's a white guy.
Right. Because I don't know. 'Cause if I was gonna get like. If you're gonna get tattooed like something dope, and then like some fucking like dude looking like a square bear looking guy comes out, I mean, you might think the
it
racism
should be
might
about
come
their
out.
art. You should be able to go look at their portfolio and see what kind of art they do.
True story.
And this and that, you know. It doesn't mean that the book cover is what this fucker can produce.
Right.
You know, this person can look all angelic and shit, but all his art is demonic. You know.
Yeah.
And back in the day, we also tattoo more of the, like, for example, the Archangel. As soon as we did the Archangel, or somebody would come in, hey, I want the Archangel. Okay, no problem. And then the person will leave. Police officer, cop.
That's crazy.
Well, most police officers feel like they're angels and they're dealing with demons every day.
Yeah.
So, you know, they're going
That's
to
deep.
battle. They go to battle every day against rapists, murderers, people that beat out their wives and shit like that, domestic abuse. So after a while, they've seen the ugly side of humans. So a lot of them feel like, and it's also the archangel, the Michael,
Michael's
the
fights
one killing
demon,
the devil.
Yeah.
90% of the cops have that.
Oh, okay, cool.
You know why? Because that relates to them. I'm the good guy. This is the devil. I'm beating. You know,
Right.
so they're put themselves as we're here to protect our city, and nobody has the balls to do that but us.
Right.
You know,
So
like,
have you had a guy that's like maybe atheist or they're on some other shit and that are tattooed and they're like, I'm cool, I don't want to do that tattoo, or other tattoo artists just do it and say, fuck it, let me get the paycheck?
I'm also like atheist.
Are you?
Well, I have offended people, you know, and
about
this
to
is me
offend me right now,
tattooing
right?
Jesus.
I
you
just
know?
played.
I would tell people,
So you're atheist?
I believe more in multi because I'm exposed to all kinds of different mythologies and race,
Right.
and you know, and pagan and all that.
What's pagan?
Pagan is people that believe in multi gods.
Oh, okay, cool.
You know, the Romans were pagans,
right.
the
Okay,
Vikings were
okay.
pagans, the Aztecs
Egyptians
were
then.
pagans.
Egyptians?
The Egyptians were pagan.
Okay.
Anybody that believed in multi gods is considered a pagan.
Okay, cool.
And then you got Christianity that came with only one God.
Right.
You know, and the Muslim also came out with their one God, Muhammad. You know, so because I'm exposed to all this, it's harder for me to stay. Oh, I'm gonna be only Catholic and this and that. And then I look at the history of Catholic is nothing but perversion, destruction, and it's like, and these are the people of God.
Right.
These are the ones who are supposed to be the good guys.
Right.
So I consider myself more like I believe, and there's a higher being. I believe that there's all kinds of different ways to look at religion. You know, I don't go to church. I don't practice church.
Right.
I didn't even I baptized my kids, but I didn't take them to do the communion. My little ones.
Right.
I told them, no, you sign that shit when you're old enough to know what the fuck you're getting into.
Right.
My parents made me do a communion, and I didn't even know what kind of fucking what kind of
I actually don't believe
how
in
can I
that
say what kind of promises I made to the religion.
Right.
You know, and then I hear like, you know, most of the, luckily I wasn't one of those motherfuckers that got molested by the priest.
Yeah.
But you know, the priesthood and all this shit, you hear about all these molestations and shit.
Right.
And how these fucking popes, they just move to another place. Go rape more people over there. Go rape more people over there. Just because they're homophobic themselves.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
A lot of them are fucking
They
gay
got a bad
motherfuckers.
rap. Yeah, they got a bad rap.
You know?
Yeah.
That don't fucking, they shouldn't be in that religion, but then they know that if they come out to their family and say, I'm gay, they'll be ostracized.
Right.
You know? So a lot of them became fucking religious and shit like that. And I'd rather believe from a preacher that is related to a female and has a female than from a preacher says, oh, I never had sex. It's like, you motherfucker. Hell no. I jerk off every other day, man.
Right.
And if you're not jerking off, something tells me you're molesting a motherfucking kid and shit.
Right.
Like
Something.
that.
Yeah.
You know, but no, I have a real confused thing. Why? Because I was exposed to multi-religions.
Right.
Through my chair, I'm tattooing a guy who's all Christian. So he's going to tell me all the great things about Christianity.
Right.
I tattoo another one who's all Catholic. So I'm going to tattooing the extremist.
Right.
You know? And I tattoo a Buddhist. I tattoo different religions.
Right.
I tattoo people that are Wiccas, you know, the witches.
Oh, right.
You know, so they tell me their religion and shit like that. I'm being exposed to multi-religion. Then sometimes I even have to go study some of this stuff.
Yeah.
Just so I can kind of know what the fuck I'm doing or what kind of art I'm doing on this person.
Yeah.
So
Do some weird shit.
after a while, I consider myself like, well, I don't go to church. I don't practice it anymore. You know, I'm maybe one day when I'm really afraid, because that's when we go back to church.
That's what
in the end, we're like, oh shit, we have to go pay tribute.
You gotta say what's up. Yeah.
But I went back to Mexico and we did I don't know if you ever seen a when they do peligración, when they a pilgrimage, when other people walk to a temple.
No.
Dude, that is probably one of the fucking most inspiring things.
Really?
To see these people, and you don't see this here in the United States. I see it a lot in Mexico.
Right.
Vamos a ir a mirar la Virgen de San Juan, and you see all these people walking to the Virgen de San Juan. And the craziest thing that I saw my mom do, We went to see La Virgen de San Juan. We did it the shitty way. We went by bus.
Right.
We're supposed to go
Cheated
walking,
a
but
little bit, yeah.
we did it the shitty way. We
Yeah.
can say. But my mom, she owed us Virgen de San Juan a lot of fucking miracles. My mom raised 8 motherfuckers in a farm,
Yeah.
and had to raise all kinds of animals too. So there was a lot of times that my brother almost died from a scorpion bite. A lot of us almost died from this or that.
Right.
So she, hey, la Virgen de San Juan, si me ayudas a mi hijo, te voy a pagar una manda. I owe the Virgen de Guadalupe a manda that my mom says, hey, you got to go pay a manda to Virgen de Guadalupe before you die. Even though,
So you're Catholic no matter what.
So when
There's
when
no way you
So
you can't be saying that
I
they're
go to
all
the church.
molesters.
I go
You're
to
Catholic.
No, I'm Catholic by birth.
By birth, you have to be
which-
Catholic no matter
And
what.
so I go to the church with my mom, and I see my mom kneel and had to kneel all the way to
That's
the
crazy.
front.
I seen
And
it on
see her,
TV. Yeah.
When pain and all that
That's
was
crazy.
fucking horrific for me, at the same time very inspiring. And then you go into this room where all the miracles have been done, and you're like, oh shit, maybe I should be a believer.
Yeah.
You know, it changes you when you see the impact of a pilgrimage,
Yeah.
and shit like that, and you see the devotion, the belief from others,
Right.
and stuff like that.
Yeah,
you know?
it's a different realm in other countries. Like in El Salvador, I was telling her because she, we haven't baptized our kids. My other kids are baptized, but and like where we come from is like Catholic. Everybody, like most majority is Catholic or whatever. But being Catholic in El Salvador, in the like the village that my parents grew up in, is way different. You know what I'm saying? It's a community. You know what I mean? It's something that like people take pride in, and it's something that like it's something that everybody goes to church together. Everybody knows each other, so everybody's like there for each other, right? When somebody, and this is the biggest one for me, is that when somebody dies, because when somebody dies, they los velan, you know what I mean? And they're up all night praying, right? And I did that with my grandfather, you know what I mean? And I'm little, I'm like 9 years old, you know what I'm saying? But people are praying nonstop, and I'm like, why are they praying so much, you know? And they're like, it's just to give them a safe passage, whatever. But
Then you see that Rosario too. Now
yeah,
you understand
Rosario.
that
I could do
Rosario,
it.
huh?
I could do, and then so they do that all night, and I'm like, oh shit. But it's something that like when you think like how you said like, oh, like maybe when I get scared enough, I'll go. You know what I mean? And you were saying it as a joke, or real too, real. But like to think and to know like when I die, I'm gonna have all my loved ones around me all night, to make sure that I go on to the next world, wherever the next dimension, you know what I'm saying? Like to know that I'm not gonna be alone is a beautiful thing, you know what I'm saying? Because here is different. Here they put you in the box and vámonos.
Here it's cold.
And it's cold, you know what I mean?
Cold, it's a cold
my
death.
boy, shout out
Here
to
it's
my
a cold
brother.
death.
Yeah, shout out to my brother. I love you forever, you know what I'm saying? I know you up there watching this shit, and my boy Josh, my brother, that fool, like it was just quick, and he wasn't, they're not believers like that, so it's kind of like he just got put in a box pretty much, like he got put there, and it's like
You're in denial. You're in denial because you don't see this body. Like when my brother passed away in Mexico versus here. When my brother passed away in Mexico, we got to see my brother in our living room, and I was getting up and eating breakfast as my brother's body's right there. And I just realized, like shit, and I'm like, come on, bro, wake up. Tell us it's a joke.
Yeah.
Tell us this whole thing is a fucking joke. He never woke up.
Yeah.
And to see the body 2 days in your house is probably one of the most warmest thing. And then you see everybody coming and paying their respects.
Right.
And this
walking
and that.
them to the,
And
walking
the
them or
same thing with my
following
dad.
them.
When he passed away, we took him home and we do the velorio at the
Yeah.
house. Here, you'd have to do it at the fucking building
Spot, yeah.
which is not,
No.
you go see him for 2 hours. You're still confused. Is this fucker really dead? Is my homie really dead?
Is he really dead?
Well, you're in
Yeah,
denial.
yeah.
Until
Right,
you
right.
really realize
Right.
he's really dead.
Yeah.
He's passed away, and
Right,
now I have
right.
to
Oh,
accept
shit.
it. Which that's what I noticed from being here.
Yeah.
Versus over there.
Yeah.
You
It's
know,
very
I tell
like-
people I don't want to fucking die in this country. It's too cold.
So it's rough, bro. It's
I
rough.
like death in Mexico because Mexico, people care a little different for the dead when it comes to taking them home. Y los velan en la casa.
But it's and then that's where it goes to like the principles, right? Because you were like, oh, you know, like you were exposed to a whole bunch of religions. That's cool. You know, I feel like you should learn about everything. You know what I'm saying? But that's where the principles start. And when you were like, oh, I'm not gonna make my kids do the communion, and that's cool. You don't have to make no kid do nothing. But if you don't show them the ropes from the beginning, it's like showing a kid like. You want him to be a boxer, but you never take him to the gym. And then when he gets old enough to realize, I really want to be a boxer, but you spent all these 10 years of the beginning of his life, he never boxed. So it's like, so they see the velorio. If you show them those things, you know, as a kid, you don't have to be like, yo, dude, you got to go to church. You got to do this. You got to do that. You got to kneel. None of that. But if you show them that warmth, that love, that God love, you know, is it because that's what it is. It's loving between the community and the love that you show to another and the love you show when they're there and they're gone. That's Christian. It's not Christianity. It's just God. You know what I mean? God is love. You know what I mean? The religion part has nothing to do with nothing. You can say I'm Catholic, Christian. It don't fucking matter. You know what I mean?
I respect God, but I hate the organization.
The religions are all. You know, it's just it's a man-made thing. You know what I mean? Like
this is me. I'm from Guanajuato. If you look up on YouTube, look up the Crusades. The Crusades of Guanajuato. Not of Europe.
Yeah.
There was a crusade that happened in Irapuato, Guadalajara, Guanajuato.
Okay.
We have a Cristo Rey. Now, I grew up in an area where half of the people were very, very Catholic.
Okay.
Were like fucking ultimate
hardcore,
Catholic.
Yeah.
And the other half were against them.
Oh.
Now we have a history back in the 1920s when there was a civil war in those three states, Catholic against Catholic.
Oh, shit. To see who was right.
Well, what happened is... Cardenas, I think Cardenas or one of these.
What are they fighting for? What were they fighting for?
Well, this president that came into power in Mexico, he decided all the money that we collect from the church is not going to Europe no more. It's not going to feed the fucking Italians.
Yeah.
It's not going to feed the United States. Yeah. We're going to keep it here in the United States because this is faith money.
Mexico.
This is our faith. Okay? So in Guanajuato, Irapuato, and all that, we actually have trees that we can say so-and-so was hung right there. So-and-so was hung over there. So-and-so was hung over there because he wasn't religious enough or he was too religious.
Oh, dang.
So the Mexican government, they went and took over the churches. And then the priest turned the people against the government.
Okay.
So it was government against Catholics.
Okay.
And there was a civil war that happened. It's a shameful civil war that they don't even talk about.
Oh, shit.
You know?
Yeah.
And there is a documentary. And so my dad... From growing up, my dad was kind of against the religion and shit like that. Where my mom was super religious.
Right.
So then I go back, and then in my home, in our area where we live, where we were raised, there's gold buried somewhere that they took from one of the trains that they stole. There was gold coins that was stolen from a train, and las cristeros, ahí vienen los cristeros running from the law or whatever, and they would hide the gold, or sometimes they have also this place called La Galera, where they said they threw horses and people down there in the fucking wells with gold and everything.
Oh, shit.
So we have nothing but spooky ass haunted house places there.
Yeah.
So I grew up in a place where there was a war that happened, religion, Catholic against Catholic.
Right.
They were killing each other.
Yeah, right.
And shit like that.
Yeah.
Cristo Rey was actually in the middle of it.
Yeah.
But now I go back. Now that I'm old enough, I asked some of my uncles, "Hey, what the fuck happened here and this and that?" And they told me, "Oh yeah, you don't remember, you guys don't know too much about the cristeros." So here you see the bullshit that the fucking religion was doing. Like, for example, los pobres indios quieren ser buenos con la religión, iban y le decían al padre, ay padre, me tuve que robar un pollo del vecino para darle de comer a mis hijos.
Right.
El padre iba y le decía a la policía, este cabrón se robó esto. So they were snitches. So it's like, were you guys really working for the people? Or you guys? So half of them were snitches, motherfuckers.
Yeah.
That they fucked over a lot of people.
Yeah.
So we didn't have trust.
One thing you know for sure, and you forever can know and think, is that people will fuck over people. That's where, and I think that's where religion gets mixed up with beliefs in God and what it really is, because when you give a human being enough power, you'll see what they're made of. And you want to see the good in them, and you want to see them maybe do something else, but people are gonna let you down.
Mexico is 80% Catholic.
Yeah, people are gonna let you down. You know what I mean?
You know?
But it's a religion thing. Like, why is it a religion thing? Like, why is it gotta be like, oh, is it because it's not about the religion? But they make it so much about the religion. Like, you lose sight of the whole shebang. You know what I mean? It's not about the religion. It's not about being Catholic or Christian or Mormon. It's about your belief.
Guanajuato.
Yeah.
Guanajuato, the state of Guanajuato and the city of Guanajuato, we have the conquest of not just the Spaniards coming in and enslaving the indigenous, but also we have the conquest of changing the religion. And once you read what they done and how they done, I seen the calabozos where they would punish people, they would torture people to believe in this different God and all this stuff.
It's control.
It was
you got to control the money. You got to control the people.
Easily.
Yeah, you got to control the money, control the people, you know?
You know, we have the history right there.
If you have too much money involved, you're going to get corruption. And if you have too much power involved, you're going to get corruption.
Guanajuato was only producing, 2/3 of the world's silver at the time.
But wait, that's the fuck. You know what I'm saying? Come on now.
2/3 of the world's silver was produced in Guanajuato.
So what are you going to do to control the whole shebang? You have to instill fear, and you have to get them to believe what you believe in.
They have so many minas, and they don't want the people to even go to church. So they build churches inside the minas to make sure that the enslaved people were not going in. They're changing them slowly.
That's crazy.
You know, we saw that fucking barbaric shit that was brought
that's crazy.
To our region.
Yeah,
I'm most likely,
people are ugly.
I'm most likely half Spanish, half indigenous of Mexico.
You look Spaniard. I ain't gonna lie. Like I guess.
Well, we have a last name Reyes. We have a last name Reyes.
Yeah.
And a lot of people in Mexico, they don't even want to claim that they're Spanish. They want to claim that.
So is that why you have an Audi belly button? Is because you're Spaniard?
Yeah. Spaniard.
We're gonna get this one to take your shirt off one day.
You know, so going into the dark history, it can create animosity, which it has for me.
Yeah.
My mom has been trying to guide me back into the church. Mijo, ponte a rezar, mijo, ¿por qué? You know, and also, you know, when I saw my brother pass away and the way the church treated my brother, and my brother it's like, you motherfuckers.
Yeah.
You know,
but it's people, but you're looking at it to the people, you know, and then that's what God, the thing about it is to read. Like, you could read any of the books. You know, the Bible's been around forever, so you read the Bible, right? But the Bible is not saying, hey, be Catholic, be this, be that. It doesn't say none of that. The Bible is a book to just read, right? If you look at the Bible, it says don't look at a person because you don't look at them. And even Buddhists, because Buddhism, they say that they have a saying, right? If I'm not wrong, sorry if I'm wrong, but they say don't, Buddha said, I think Buddha was the one saying, don't look at my finger as a light. Look at what it's pointing at. So he's not saying don't look at me as your guy. Look at the guy that I'm pointing at. Like it's bigger than me. But if we start looking at the people, that's when the shit gets fucked up.
Oh, yeah.
Because if I go and I told her like I cannot respect a man and I'm not gonna listen to a man and follow a man that won't do more or as much as me. If you can't go toe to toe with like the disciplines that I have, like if you can't do certain things, like if you can't eat right, if you got no discipline on what you watch, if you got no discipline on your fitness, if you got no discipline on that, it's really, really hard for me to look at you and be like, yeah, I'm gonna follow you. Yeah, I'll listen to what you gotta say because look, dude, you don't got to control in your own life. Like you can't tell me I put a piece of pie right here and you know you're not supposed to eat it and you're not gonna eat it. You know what I'm saying? Why? Because you don't have that discipline. And then you're trying to tell me about a bigger, higher power? Like, nah, fool, get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? Like, how are you going to teach me something if you don't have that? You know what I mean? But it's the person. I don't give a fuck about the person. So I'm not going to walk into church and look at the guy and be like, that's the guy that's going to, you know, but he might teach me something. He might say something that might spark my interest. And then I go from there and I go do my own research. I go look it up and I read, you know. But the person the thing we have to keep in mind is God and the love, you know what I mean? And it's love. It's not nothing about nothing else. It's love, you know, because what they say, God is love. And if you show love, I've seen how much love you show this fool, you know what I mean? You guys, the brotherhood that we have and how we get down, and that's why I tell people on the streets, like people from the streets and people that grew up in the shit that like kind of that we grew up in, I give them a lot of credit, and people don't, right? Because the brotherhood that we have for people that we're not related to, you're not related to him, but you'll do anything for him. You'll die for him, right?
No, fuck no. I got my kids, fucker.
Okay, never mind. But you know what I'm saying?
We can only go so far.
You know what I'm saying? Like when you're a kid, right, Vaca? When you're a kid, Vaca, you do some shit for some fools that, you know, because you have that like love and that like, dude, you know, and that's respectable. That's love, you know what I'm saying? But Sometimes it's misguided, you know what I'm saying? Then you start doing criminal shit, and then shit happens. You just start doing drugs, and it gets misinterpreted, and then it's misled, right? But that bond, that love for another human being, that's what it is. That's what it's about. It's not about religion. It's about that love, and that would be cool if you went to a church and that's all you felt, you know what I'm saying? But you got to look for it. They're out there, you know what I mean? You just got to look for it, you know what I'm saying?
I try to go into church, and I can only listen to half of the ceremony thing.
The Mormon.
Not the Mormon. I actually grew up with Mormon kids.
Cool.
I grew up with Mormon kids. I got to know about Mormonism. My boss was a Mormon.
Yeah.
So I got to know from his point of view and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know? And the Mormons, to me, it was pretty cool because they baptized their kids at 16. At an age that you know what the fuck you're doing, and I was baptized at an age that
you're a baby.
You're a baby, so they want you in that gang related affiliation right away. You know, it's all gang related. You know,
it's the biggest.
Who has the biggest gang and this and that in a way.
Right, because what do you got to do to gang? You got to pay taxes.
And in Mexico, you know,
you got to pay taxes. You know,
you wanted you to have a lot of kids so you can have more in the religion and all that.
Let's say, okay, so you have, like, let's say it's a gang related, right? The church is gang related. If gangs right now to this day, if there was a gang leader and he is on a higher path, if he's actually looking forward and looking to make his community better, his little homies better, that's going to be a powerful gang, and maybe a gang that's not going to do so much criminal shit.
We call him the Pope.
There you go. But you're going for a better thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, so let's say it is in a gang. If it's a good thing, then fuck it. You might as well rock with the good gang and the most powerful gang.
Right now, they're doing all this. They're all wearing certain colors.
Mm-hmm.
They're all wearing certain hats.
Oh yeah.
They're all doing this woo-woo-doo-woo-doo-woo-doo-woo-doo.
Like the
they all
tattoos.
have to do this
like
and that.
The tattoos. Yeah. Everything has a symbol.
And then they all have
Everything
to
has
do
a
all
meaning.
this and that.
Yeah.
And then puff. Nope, the smoke is not white yet.
Yeah.
We have
right. Tradition.
You know, tradition.
Which is fine.
You know.
But you can't look at it in the human point of view. You got to look at it in like, okay, I hope when that fucking smoke comes out and that guy goes and speaks, he's cool. And he's not a weirdo. You know what I'm saying? Like, hopefully he's not a weirdo, because that Pope, if you don't like him, let's say you don't like him. Let's say, I don't know if you like him or not like him. But that fool is your mom is gonna love. If a
meteor was coming down from up there,
who?
I wish it would hit the Vatican.
If what did?
A meteor was coming down. I wish it would hit the Vatican.
But because you have trauma. Because you're traumatized.
Yeah, the more I study it, the more horrific it gets.
Yeah, but what about your mom? How does your mom feel?
My mom is an awesome person who believes in her.
So what you want is that smoke to come out, and that guy to be a good leader.
My mom is, like I said, I grew up with an extremist.
Yeah.
You know, my dad used to teach us goofy stuff and funny stuff.
Yeah.
Where my mom was different.
Yeah.
And it's still, my mom is still alive. She's very different.
Shout out to mama.
You know, but you know, me growing up, I didn't have to go to church. My church was a tattoo place. Everybody was coming to my chair and telling me their dark secrets, their religion, what they do and don't believe, and this and that. So I think, oh man, I kind of like this about this. I'm going to apply it to my life.
Right.
I kind of like this about this, positive, this and that. I don't like this about his religion, so I'm not going to practice it and shit like that. That's who I kind of became.
Right.
I never read the Bible, and I did start reading the Bible, and it was mostly incest from the beginning.
Right.
And it's kind of like, I don't know if I want to read this anymore.
Yeah.
And shit like that, you know?
Yeah.
And
your interpretation of it was different, you know what I'm saying? And then how you see it, because it's not something to take literal, you know what I mean? It's not something to take. It's more of something to learn and as a guide. You know what I mean? I don't feel like it's something to take literal. It's not a story. It's not just like a. Like, so if you look at it as like
interpretation, but everything is open for interpretation.
It's open for interpretation, yeah.
You know,
But if you look at it as incest, yeah, you're definitely gonna see it.
You know,
as that,
and
you
we
know?
all look like
But you do need to look it up, because I'm sure that not saying that, like, I'm sure that you've done your research on certain things. Like, you had to do your research to do a podcast. You had to do a research to do tattooing. You know what I'm saying? You've done a lot of research. You've done a lot of studying. You've done a lot of testing. You've done a lot of everything, right? So you can't judge. No, you can. I'm just saying, but I would urge you to study and dissect a little bit more and a little bit deeper before you think it's just a bunch of fucking molesters and the Vatican should get blown up. But I'm just saying, like, just think about it, because you haven't done you said you read a little bit and you're like, oh, it's incest. But I'm saying, like, it's a study thing. You know what I'm saying? Because if witches, I'm sure they fucking study the witch shit, and then they got to do certain things. In El Salvador, we had fucking ladies turning into cats and shit.
We have brujas in
Yeah,
San Pancho.
brujas are crazy.
We have
bro.
brujas.
See, look, Vacas over there like, yeah,
I come from a place where we have brujas. Okay?
Right, me too. I mean, us too.
I can't talk about brujas here. They look at me like a dumbass.
Don't,
But
please.
it's
They're
so
gonna
cool to
spell
go
us, fool.
back to my hometown
Yeah.
and talk to people, and they say, yeah, so-and-so has a baby that was taken by a bruja. So-and-so has a baby that died by a bruja.
Yeah, I don't.
And it's kind of like, holy shit, this is so fucking cool. So, you know, I you know,
my mom's gonna hate me after she sees this.
no, I got to, you know, I go through a confused thing, you know.
Yeah, I can see that.
I'm a very confused individual.
I love it.
There's nothing right about me when it comes to the religion.
But that's the,
you know.
Yeah.
Like I said, my dad was very much against it, and then towards the end, he's like, "Hey, son, you gotta start believing in this and that, and start getting closer to the family, and this and that." I said, "Oh, okay, Dad, but
because your soul will be here longer than your body." You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't think that because this life goes on. The world has been here forever. You know what I'm saying? So, like, this physical form is only gonna be here a small time, and then you have everything else ahead of you. You know, whether you believe it or not, when you close your eyes and there's nothing there, or whether you close your eyes and there's something there. So would you want to be on the side of, like, there's nothing there, or there's something there, and then you're like, fuck, I should have probably did more? Or you're on the side of, like, okay, I close eyes, nothing happened, but no harm done. But you don't want to be, like, left in the wondering of, like, fuck, I could have. You know what I'm saying? So maybe that's what he was saying, like, hey, look for it. You know what I'm saying? Look for it, because there's going to come a time where you might be like, oh, fuck, it's too late. And then why do that? You might as well just start doing good deeds now. And it's not about religion. You got to go to church. But it's like, just treat everybody good. You feel me? Like, treat everybody good with some love and respect. And it is what it is. You know what I mean? And God will see your soul and your heart for what it is.
Believe it or not, I live on the positive side of life.
There you go. That's what I'm saying. You're not.
I don't look at negative. Like, me getting locked up, I had to sit in that jail. Bored as a motherfucker.
Yeah. We're going to go into detail. I want to hear this.
I need to figure out how to make this a positive situation.
Yeah.
I can't be angry.
Did you eat the orange?
There's no point. Oh, dude, the food sucked.
Yeah. Did you get a sandwich or no?
Oh, the food sucked. Let's just put it that way. The food sucked, but I had to eat it. You know, it was the most driest food. It was the most tasteless food.
Yeah, shout out to all the homies at Par, bro. Hey, stay up, bro. Stay up.
No, I didn't do it at Par.
It
was in Yerington.
Oh, fuck, dude. You were in a cell. They had bars and all that shit.
I went
to jail in Fallon one time, fool. I thought I was back in the Wild Wild West. Oh, my God.
I got to wear the black and white outfit.
Oh, shit.
It was so fucking cool. The black and white outfit.
It's fucking
you know?
You seen the movie Life? Yeah. That's how he looked? Oh, fuck. He was Martin Lawrence.
that was crazy, my outfit. Dude.
So what they feed you there? Fuck.
I had to eat it. You know, I ate it. It was hard.
Wait, okay. Okay, so you got locked up in Yerington for smoking. How high were you, and where the fuck were you going?
We were coming back from delivering a tattoo chair. And finally, the lady said, all right, I had enough of you. When I told her, look, we saw fucking lights out in the desert. This fucker finally got to see aliens with me.
Oh, really? It's real. It's out there.
We got to see some shit that we could not explain.
Really?
You know, we kept stopping and fucking just tripping out of these fucking lights and shit like that.
That's crazy.
Yeah, we saw shit that we couldn't explain, and Raph was like, look, man. Oh, she called him. She's, I knew we were fucked up when he kept calling her, sir, and it was a lady.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, you can't.
Well, I thought we were still in the Biden administration, you know.
You call him whatever. This fucking guy, I swear.
So.
I'm sorry,
So.
Oh, shit. Yeah, she's pissed off.
If
you would have talked to her different, she might have probably let you go. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but, you know, considering the last one was a DUI also for weed, you know, they're not going to let it go that easily. And then I used the word tripping.
It's indoor. Indoor weed. We smoked it inside. No?
I used the word. We were tripping on the lights, lady.
Yeah, you can't say
I
that.
actually wanted her to.
Don't say you're tripping on lights when you get pulled over by the cops, please. Yeah, get the fuck out of the car. Get the goddamn. Yeah. At that point, you had two things were gonna happen. She was gonna say, "Let me hit some," or "You're going to jail." Like, You're going to jail for sure. You can't tell a cop you're tripping
But
out.
no,
but
we saw lights, so it's kind of like, do I believe in God? Do I believe in the aliens?
Right.
You know, I'm seeing things that last time I saw 3 orbs out there doing shit, there was no witness. I have a witness here, and this fucker has a witness too.
Mm-hmm.
I was frantically looking for my iPad because I want to record it. He's like, dude, you just got to trip on this shit. Come like, dude. Yeah,
you miss it. Yeah, you miss it. Yeah, if you try to, it's fast. And he knows what he saw. You don't have to. That there we go again. You're looking at the physical form, like, oh, I see this, so I believe. No, it's not about that. Belief and faith is seeing what you don't believe, because he says it. I'm gonna go revert to the Bible, and people are gonna be like, "This was a Bible thumper." Or what?
Oh no,
no,
it's
but look,
okay.
But
this
look,
is good talk.
But look, so God said when Lucifer. Mm-hmm. When Lucifer did his thing and then he got kicked the fuck out of heaven, he said, I strike you down, and then boom, and he comes down to the earth. You don't know what that looked like. We don't know what that looked like. That was a long time ago. So you don't know what's going on up there, and you don't know what's coming down here. You don't know how it works. You know, we don't know how it works. We are so small in this universe that is so big. You know what I mean? But you can't say like, because if you believe in the aliens, it's just like believing in a person. You know, I can believe, I can love,
no.
I can love Vodka, and I can respect them, but
now I know there's something out there. There's somebody was driving that ship. That motherfucker turned into like 10 fucking dots.
Oh, really?
And then they disappear.
That's
and that
Elon,
wasn't,
bro. That's Elon.
No, that wasn't his shit, man. That was not Elon. That was none of these motherfuckers.
It was crazy though. I bet I would have tripped out, especially high fuck.
And then we drove over past.
I would have panicked. Way at one time, so we're coming down from Vegas.
No, this fucker was tripping the whole fucking way back.
Dude, I was happy.
Oh, you were happy? See, yeah, I tripped. I was lit, and I had done other stuff. You know what I'm saying? I was playing with the nose and all that shit. Anyways, then we're coming back from Vegas a long time ago, right? Nigga, they start talking about aliens. We start seeing some shit. I'm in the back seat. My cousin and my homie in the front. I'm in the back seat, and this shit is fogged up back there in the back because I'm like, dude, we're about to die. These fools are about to come down and kill us. I can't feel my heart. Dude, I was tripping the fuck out. I can't see shit like that. I'll start tripping. I'll start fucking.
Didn't see anything. You were just
I was just hearing it from them. Fool, if I would have seen what y'all saw, I would have been.
We saw something.
We were happy. We were like, oh my God, are you seeing this?
That's tight.
Holy shit.
That's tight.
Cool.
Some Independence Day shit was about to happen. Just wang.
And then fucking rap. Dude, we saw lights.
So how did you get pulled over? So what happened? So you guys were just driving and
I rolled on the stop sign. I rolled on that stop sign at the McDonald's.
Uh-huh.
Instead of completely stop, I rolled. I didn't roll, and then
okay.
right as I'm turning, I see him. Like fuck, hopefully, and yep, he turned his party lights right away.
She said,
Man.
"Oh,
she turned her party lights right away." Well, at the time, I didn't know who was in the vehicle. You know.
I had a little short, like flat top looking cut.
And she kept saying, "It's ma'am."
Ma'am, like,
Fucking rap, sorry, sir.
I didn't know where to put his head.
He's like, "Where are we?"
Yeah, it was.
And then rap says, "Oh, you're gonna my name is I'm a criminal." You said something about like my name is.
I was trying to tell her that I have a common name, so I'm gonna come up as
Fuck.
Criminal.
Yeah, I
So
have
if you ever get pulled over, don't be in the car with rap, because this was the.
Oh no!
hell no.
I tell people don't be in the car with me because I set off the alarm at the immigration station more than once.
Oh fuck.
And one time when I got pulled over in California, apparently I got more than 6 DUIs in California, but it's not me.
Right, because you have a common name. You have a common
I have a
brown
common name.
Yeah.
And
You have a common hoodlum name. Yeah.
oh yeah, and so
What is it?
assault and
Rafael?
battery on an officer, running from an officer,
shit.
which is not me,
What's your name? What's your?
Rafael Reyes.
Oh fuck yeah.
And you know it's like one of the worst things for me to experience
Don't go to El
because
Salvador. It's
as soon
Secot
as,
for sure.
as soon as they pull me over, it's like, these guys are. And every time I got pulled over, I get locked up.
Mm.
You know, they're not.
Yeah,
they're
I
not
went through a
nice to
time
me.
like that. I couldn't get pulled over. I was getting locked up every time. That's crazy.
Yeah, my life got really fucked up. I had a lot of anger in my life. I had a like, why are these guys after me? Why do they treat me like that? Until somebody explained it to me. Once it was explained, and when okay, now I understand. Now there's no reason for me. This is the reason that like, okay, now I understand. Yeah, this time I fucked up or whatever, or yeah, I got busted with this much weed in the car or whatever, you know. And then
It's gone, officer.
yeah, he pulls out the bag. He's like, "Fuck, could you just get rid of that before?"
No, Raph.
She's all like, "Where's the weed?" Like it's gone.
We smoked it, and we're tripping out on the lights.
Yeah, so we'll see how this.
You told her that. You said you driving said it's gone.
No, I did.
You did.
She
Okay.
said, "Where's the weed?" And I just pulled the bag from like underneath the seat, and I was like, "It's gone. Like it's all empty." Like,
Yeah.
It was a dispensary bag.
Oh, okay, cool.
It was just flat.
And she was. Yeah. Man.
Yeah, I got busted again.
no
But oh
way, yeah.
well, fuck it.
Fuck it.
I'll pay my dues. I'll do what I have to do. Hopefully, I'll get a lawyer that can reduce the fucking charges to a minimal.
Do you have a medicinal card?
No,
Go get one.
not a good idea.
Why?
Under federal law, you can't be smoking weed or get caught with weed either.
I know, but if you go like I'm gonna tell you like this guy, I heard it from somebody.
Hey, when
and I heard it from
when you're
I
an
heard it from-
illegal or when you're not here as I'm a citizen,
Right. So
but
you
doesn't mean that I'm an equal citizen to another person.
Right.
That stuff can be still taken away by federal agents.
Right.
You know?
No, but I'm saying if you go and get a medicinal card and then you go to in front of the judge and be like, look, I really do have like like this is why I smoke weed. Then they'll be like, all right, cool. Like, hey, look, I get anxiety. And then they'll be like, why were you smoking? Be like, I get anxiety. So I'm about to drive along that. So I get anxiety. So I didn't feel safe driving without it because that's what makes me feel better. Like, you got to find a story for it. If not, you're going to get fucked. They're going to give you the DUI. But I'm saying, I heard that from a lawyer told me that before. They're like, oh, like, did you smoke? Okay, boom. Because my sister got one. And I'm like, okay, if you get a medicinal card and you say you actually have an issue and shit, because you do. You know what I'm saying?
I have
so the
migraines
court looks
and
at
all
this.
kinds of other
I'm
stuff.
telling him, giving him advice because he has anxiety. That's why he was smoking, ma'am, sir.
Yeah. Well, let's see what I can do. I got
Try it, and then we'll come back on the podcast
I
after
got 10
your
or 12
court.
days to go to court.
10 or
And
12 days. Okay,
they
we'll
didn't-
get on the podcast like in a month, and then we'll see.
I don't even have a lawyer right now. I can't afford a lawyer, and they didn't let me see the judge.
I'm telling you, get a medicinal card and get a public defender. That way you don't have to spend no money. But tell the public defender, look, dude, I get anxiety. I'm driving. My boy didn't have a license, so I had to drive, and I have anxiety. I have to smoke. And if they say like, oh, dude, but that's not, because you're fucked. Because you told the judge, the cop pretty much you smoked. So, you can't hide it and say I wasn't high. You know what I'm saying? So, like, you have to say, why were you high? I was high because it helps me drive. Like, it keeps me from going crazy and crashing. You know what I'm saying?
No, I didn't confess, but she tried to get me to confess over and over again.
So, why did she take you to jail?
They do the little test on me, and
so the
apparently I don't
sobriety?
cross my eyes, and that's enough for me.
Boom,
It's
vámonos.
always been the eyes.
So they don't know exactly that you smoke. She didn't test you at all. Like there was no.
Oh,
test.
they
Only
took the
sobriety?
blood.
Oh,
If
they
I
did take the
refuse the blood, they take my license.
Oh, okay, so you
Last
took
time
the,
I
so you're high.
refused,
So
I
you're high as
refused the
fuck.
blood, and they took my license away, and they still took my blood.
I'm
You know,
telling
they-
you,
they
dude.
got a
If you
warrant.
come up with a good story, but you have to have backup. You know what I mean? So if you go and you go to a doctor, you tell me, dude, I got anxiety, like high anxiety all day and shit, and you get a card, you're in. At least
I
you can
hope.
get reduced. You know what I'm saying?
Well, the thing is, hopefully I can. I don't even have money, bro. I'm broke as a joke right now. I have no work. We just barely sold the chair. I was trying to make some money.
Let's sell this fool's feet pics. That's what we're doing.
The reason
Guys,
the reason we
subscribe.
do this
We're gonna send
website,
his
this,
feet pics. He has beautiful feet. You
no,
might not
the
be
reason
able to
the
see it
reason
from
we
here,
do
but
this
he has
podcast
beautiful
is to
feet.
try and promote my chairs, his graffiti
We'll
store.
promote those
and
right now.
stuff like
Let's
that,
let's end it like that. Let's promote them. Oh yeah, shout out to El Rincon if you guys want the best pupusas in Northern Nevada. El Rincon, 668 Green Brae Drive, Sparks. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to all the restaurants in the area and shit. But you know who got the best pupusas. You know what I'm saying? Come on now.
Oh, yeah, that's why I go over there, homie.
Hell yeah. You know what I'm saying?
fucking-
Pakcity always. You know what I'm saying? I'm Ernesto. You feel me?
Pupusas.
You guys need merch. You guys, you know what I'm saying? You guys are local artists. You need to tap in with somebody to do music or to promote music, man. Holla at your boy. I got your back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And merchandise,
what's-
you know what I'm saying? We do merch, you know what I'm saying? Pakcity.
You got you still doing the t-shirts and stuff
Yes,
like
sir. Yes, sir.
that? Hey, when you should be making your own website. You should make
have
a
one.
website.
I
You
have
got one?
Yeah, I have one.
Who do you got it through?
I got it through Shopify.
Oh, you're doing Shopify?
Yeah, do the Shopify.
This fucker's does Shopify. I'm doing
Shopify
Shopify.
is it, bro. Shopify
Yeah.
is it. For all of you youngsters out there, real shit, get your game up. You know what I'm saying? If you're out there selling anything, selling merch, selling whatever the fuck, do your fucking research. You know what I'm saying? Or hit anybody up. I'm sure they'll spit some game with you. Vodka, I'm sure will run you through it. He's gonna charge you like $50 an hour, but it is what it is. I'm gonna charge you $75 an hour. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
For any consultation, $75 an hour minimum. For feet picks, $100 a pick.
Yeah, fucking. Well,
Or 150. I gotta talk to my girl. Hold on. 150. 150, dude.
Yeah.
Up.
yeah, I've been building websites. I build one for Homie. I build one mine. I build one for CBD.
There you go. So
And
if you need a
CBD
website,
was not easy to go through all the challenges
hell
of
no,
CBD.
hell no, I bet. It's
You
a lot of
know,
bullshit.
comparing to selling T-shirts and stuff like that, that's a lot easier and faster.
A lot faster. Like
You know?
you just got to put them up there and get it cracking.
Yeah, and
We should
and,
do
and marketing.
I'm down. If you guys are down, we should do a collab shirt. That'd be dope. We can
Yes,
sell them
sir.
and shit.
I know I told you that I would design something for you and then just kind of.
It's whatever, dude. Let's do it, dog. I wanna no, let's do something. And if you can design it, I'll fucking write it up, dude. We'll put it on the podcast. We can sell the shirts. Cause I'm telling you, I had the design and look out for it. Cause I really believe in it. I was gonna say, what was it? I think the saying was paint the city or something, or paint the world, something like that. Remember I was telling you, like
told me
something like that, right?
I thought it was related to the Pakcity one, but I don't remember what you wanted.
No, but it was something like that. Cause I want to make it like an art thing. You know what I'm saying? So I want like when they say like paint the town, you know what I'm saying? Like I want to put like paint the city. So and put it in the back, make it like a graffiti shirt and something like art, you know what I mean? And we could put a wolf in there, you know what I'm saying? Whatever, however you design it. And then look out for those shirts, dude. And then that's what we can collab. And I'm always looking to collab with any artist, you know what I'm saying? So if you're a graffiti artist in the city, if you have designer ideas, if you have clothing ideas, I'm always down to hear some ideas and whatever, you know what I mean? But let's do that shirt. That'd be dope. Yeah.
And how long you been doing your podcast now?
The podcast's been running for like about 2 years. 2 years.
2 years.
Yep.
Yeah,
So I got about 20. No, I got a little bit more than 20 episodes in. But I mean, it took a minute. You know
This
what I'm
shit is fun, homie.
Oh, it's fun. It's fun. I'm like, thank you, dude, for having me on here.
What are you
I
using
appreciate
lately
you.
for doing your podcast? Because I'm gonna start trying to see if I can get Riverside and start using Riverside so I can interview some people from other countries, other states, and stuff like that. You know, because you can interview through
sync 'em?
through.
I haven't done it like that. I honestly, shout out to my boy Isma Images. If you guys need pictures or videos, whatever, that's the guy. I use him, and he sets it all up. He has the mics, and he does the whole shebang. And soon, so he does his thing. So I'll talk to him about doing interviews like that. I've never done it before, but soon they'll be on Spotify and like anything that you on all platforms that we're trying to upload them now.
You just on YouTube right now?
I'm just on YouTube right now.
Yeah, I started with Spotify, but Spotify gives you that pressure. You gotta have 12 fucking episodes before we even think about you, motherfuckers.
Yeah.
And
So
where
we're-
YouTube doesn't have that,
Yeah,
and it was so easy to sign up with YouTube.
Shout out to YouTube, man.
You know?
Promote us, fuckers.
And but I also have it with Spotify.
Okay.
And right now we're trying to translate them into Spanish or do the
cool.
Spanish subtitles or something because people they wanna listen to us in Spanish. Es dos mexicanos aquí hablando puro
Ey.
pinche inglés. Hay que
Well, I'm
decir.
Salvadorian, but
Pero eso
sí,
cool.
aquí estamos
That's
para
how
hablar
we do it.
español, inglés. Suscriban, denle un like ahí y mire el muchacho aquí porque hace buen content.
Well, we try, and sometimes we're not always going to agree. You know, I don't
No, hell no.
I don't want to be a kiss ass.
No.
If this guy says a religion, I'm going to put in my point of view and say, hey, this is who I am. This is what I am.
That's what it is.
You know, I don't go preach to other people. Hey, you shouldn't believe in this. You shouldn't believe in that. You know.
You see how you don't have to believe nothing. I
no.
have input, but this right here is needed in the community. It's like, hey, have an ear to hear what he's got to say and then what I got to say and then take it for what you want, because I'm sure if he says something like that, especially like talking as the way he talks to somebody that's, let's say, really Catholic, they're going to get offended. And then what do? They shut their ears off and they lose the sight of what it is. You know what I'm saying? But there's none of that. You know what I mean? Like, and when I talk about religion, if he shuts his ears off, he ain't going to hear what the fuck I got to say. It's not about that. It's about communication.
No.
You know
As a
what I mean?
tattoo artist, I have been.
You're a therapist.
I'm tattooing people, and sooner or later they're gonna tell me everything and anything
You're like
about
the
their
bartender.
lives.
You know what I'm saying?
And I have to,
all the beans.
you know, I have to like, okay, this is kind of interesting. Let's, you know, and then I'll go do a little bit of research and this and that, and like, okay, I can see why he believes in this. Very interesting.
Hell yeah.
And shit like that. You know, I'm not close minded. I'm very open minded and stuff like
I
that.
love it.
You
I
know,
love
I
it. That's
deal
what's
I
needed,
deal
dude.
with
Real
all
shit.
different colors, all different ages. You know, when I'm 20 and tattooing 50-year-olds, I can already see what my future is going to be like. They're telling me shit that, you know, my 20-year-old friends are not going to tell me and shit like that,
Oh,
you know.
sure.
So in my industry, I grew up, by the time I was 30, I have the mentality of a 50-year-old.
Yeah.
You know, because I have talked to so many different walks of life and this and that.
Yeah.
You know, I was tattooing 3 to 4 people a day, 3 hours 3 hours at a time.
Yeah.
And then so you and also I tattooed somebody when they were single, when they got married, when they had kids, when they got divorced, who was cheating, why they were cheating.
Yeah.
I get to know all the
Guys,
the
don't cheat, bro. Let me a dirtbag.
Don't get caught.
Or
Don't get caught. That's the main thing.
That's fucking guy. Hey, promote the chairs.
Cheating is part of the marriage.
You gotta go eat lunch.
We
Promote the
used to
chairs.
have this thing. We used to have this thing. A young kid comes into the shop and
Hey.
I just got married and stuff like that. So, he's asking us married guys. So what do you guys do for fun when you're married?
Hey,
Get a mistress.
come on, cuz. Hey, don't do that. Have fun with your partner.
That usually challenges
If not,
the marriage.
You need to talk to your partner about being open about other females. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what y'all fools are lacking on. You guys are like sitting here trying to be sneaky and trying to get another chick and trying to do all this and that. Like, what you need to start doing is get in your girl's ear and be like, look, girl, I love you. I'm all about you. But, like, what about her? You feel me? Like, why can't we share? And maybe you might not be able to stick it in the first time, but maybe the second time. You know what I'm saying? Let her play with her and do all
But
that.
cheating goes both ways. Both people play it. Believe it or not.
Oh,
both
she better
sides
not
play
fucking
it.
cheat on me.
No, both sides play it. Believe it or not. I tattoo
Hey,
so many
now I'm gonna
people.
tell you this: girls cheat on
Yeah.
us, and we don't even know what the fuck is going on.
Yeah, they're better at keeping secrets than we are.
Yeah, and then there those orgasms that you say you're doing.
And a lot of them, everybody gets.
I've
caught
been the mistress.
because sooner or later they admit to it.
She
They can't-
orgasms
they
better
can't
with
wait,
me, anyways.
They can't wait to tell how great it was or this or that.
The sex?
Yeah, or whatever.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
I have so many clients that more motherfuckers would brag about their mistress than they would brag about their wives.
Yeah, that's fucked up. That's fucked up. That's
that
what
is very
slacking.
common.
It is common, but it's fucked up.
And every other motherfucker that sat on my chair was bitching and complaining about his wife, instead of, telling
Fix
me
it.
his
Fix
wife
it,
is
guys.
great,
Fix
this, and that. All they do is bitch and complain.
If your girl's not being
know?
freaky enough, you need to talk to her, and you guys need to have a conversation. Watch some porn together. Do something. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Stop just going and thinking
Well,
the easy way out. You feel me?
Maintaining a relationship is not easy.
As hell nah.
It's one of the hardest things in the world.
Fuck yeah.
We don't,
Amen, brother.
even though there's other things to look for, we still got to have a communication.
Yeah.
I'm married for 36 years and counting.
Man, my dog.
So it's not easy.
Yeah.
You know,
I've been in a relationship for a
we
minute,
gone
but not
through
that
it.
long. How long have you been?
Me and my wife gone
10
through
years?
it,
10 years.
and so, but that's just a kind of a funny joke that we tell people, but I'm not gonna shame anybody for doing what they're doing.
No, yeah, do what you
Just
do.
don't get caught.
Don't get caught. Don't get caught. I'm gonna tell you like this. And again, we don't have to agree. We can agree to disagree. And like I'm gonna tell you like this. I've been a cheater, and I've been faithful. And if you're gonna keep a relationship, and that's what you want, and you want structure in your life, and you wanna, to me personally, not just to me. If you want to be abundant and you want to grow as a person, to me, this is just to me. Be faithful to your woman. And if you're not going to be faithful to your woman, just be single. Because having a woman and being faithful and having that having that relationship and that trust between each other, and not feeling like you got to look behind your back and you got all this other shit fogging your mind, thinking you got to fucking cover this up and doing all that shit fucks you up so hard that you have no idea. I've been there. I've been a cheater, and I've been a not cheater, and I'll be a not cheater or single. You know what I mean? Because you just can't grow. Like especially 100% for my entrepreneurs, like you can debate with me right now. You can be an entrepreneur somewhere else, and if you can tell me like, dude, I'm in a serious relationship and I cheat and I still get kudos to you. But if you really want to be some business entrepreneur or on some other shit on some creative level, you need to be loyal, or you need to be single, because being loyal, having your girl happy will make you as productive as possible. To me.
Oh, yeah.
To
Yeah,
me,
yeah.
because when I was cheating, I was not productive. I was thinking about pussy and nothing else.
Well,
I
no,
was thinking about the
you-
next
you-
time and that just fogs your mind. You know what I mean? You're just, and it's fun. I'm not gonna say it's not like it's not fun in a sense, but it's very detrimental to what you're trying to do. You feel me? Like if you're just trying to be a dirtbag and just put your dick in anything, then by all means,
No,
go have
no,
fun.
it doesn't happen that way. But like in the world of that I went through tattooing, temptation was there every other day.
Oh yeah.
You got naked people, you got people confessing this and that.
For real. So you guys had to like tattoo like
half
damn
of the
near vaginas.
females were on the rebound,
Oh fuck.
where they just left their man and
And
I
you're the
want to get a
badass-
tattoo
and
now.
you're the badass tattoo artist.
And shit like that. So temptation
Shit
is
like
always
that.
there. Can you?
Vaka's a sexy tattoo artist.
Can you
He's just
stay
the
away from
baddie.
temptation?
I heard about you.
You know,
heard
it's not
about
easy.
you, Vaka. Girls
know?
talk about you around town. Like.
Especially when you're young and
Hope
your
you don't got a
fucking
girl. She gonna be
hormones
mad
are,
at me,
are way
man.
crazier.
Fuck, dude. My bad, dude. I was just fucking around. I was just kidding.
Once you get
No,
it,
but hey, for real,
once
no
you get
bullshit. I'm
older,
not gonna lie to
it
you. I'm
gets
not gonna lie to
harder.
you. This was like hood famous. You know what I'm saying?
well, this fucker got 3 baby mamas,
That
something
was
like
hood
that,
famous.
you know.
I used to, some girl was like, she was like, oh, look at my tattoo. I was like, oh, that's badass. She's like, yeah, I got it from Vaca, and she's so cool. He's such a badass. I'm like, oh, shut the fuck up. I'm like, who's this fucking Vaca guy? And then I meet him. I'm like, he is a fucking badass and shit.
Yeah.
Then you get to know him, and he's like, fucking sweetheart. That guy. This fucking, he's a badass, but he's the nicest fucking guy ever.
But yeah, hopefully, don't take my advice. I'm the worst motherfucker to take advice from. You know.
Take it for what it. Promote the tattoo chairs.
Oh,
Give a
well,
promo
go
in
to
there.
go to stingraytattoo.net, order your chair. I do have a couple almost ready to ship or almost ready. I would say 80% built.
80%.
You
How
know.
many you got?
I build them. I built to
Build
order.
them on the spot?
I built
Look,
to order
man.
because
Look, I'm gonna tell you like
they're not
this
cheap.
from somebody that's been on the chair. No homo. But it's for somebody that's been on the chair, and I got tattooed on one of these chairs, bro. These are the tits. These are dope chairs. You're gonna not hurt yourself moving back and forth and doing all this. It's gonna do it for you. And I know that you're implementing them on the barbers, bro. Barbers, take a look at this. Invest in yourself. If you're a tattoo artist, invest in yourself, bro. These chairs are sturdy. They're built to last. You know what I'm saying? Like I've been there. I've seen them. I've all that. You know what
I
I mean?
guarantee
make
them for
sure
20 years. And
20 years. I'm saying, hey, I'm telling you right now, these chairs are dope. You know what I'm saying? Anything these guys do is dope. And his art. Don't sleep on the art because
And no tariffs. Built by a
No
Mexican
tariffs.
in the U.S. All right. We'll say goodbye on this one, homie.
hell yeah.
Thank you for coming over.
Hell yeah. Thank you for having me, dude.
This is
Anytime,
Neto
bro.
from Pakcity.
Holla at your boy. Thank you guys for having me.